Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today is day 30 out of devotionals, out of this devotional book. Let's get started. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Every choice we make matters. There are real-world consequences for each decision in our lives. Some of them good, some of them bad. Everything we do is like a stone tossed into a pond. We never know what sort of ripples it might make. This thought can be overwhelming. We can become frozen in indecision, terrified of making the wrong choice. But God doesn't want us to live in fear. Instead, He wants us to make choices with wisdom. But how? First, does God's Word teach against one of the options? If so, let's close that door right away because we know it's not God's plan for us. Of the remaining choices, do any help you live more like Jesus? Do any make you less like Him? If so, head toward Jesus, not away from Him. What about the remaining options? Choose whichever seems most practical, most interesting, or best to you, and you're honoring God in your choices. No matter what we do in life, life will be a mix of good and bad for all of us because our world is not perfect, but we can honor God in our choices. Wow. It's kind of powerful, and it's just almost brings me back to something that our choices shouldn't be based on what the world thinks, but our choices that we make should be based on what God thinks, and most importantly, what God wants us to do and the choices He wants us to make. And we shouldn't be wanting to make bad decisions. We should be wanting to make good decisions. And our decisions should be based on going to God in prayer, asking God for wisdom, and asking God for His guidance and for His wisdom to know what the right choice is and what the wrong choice is. For example, friends. You want to know which friends you want to surround yourself with. Like which ones are the right ones you want to surround yourself with, and which ones do you need to take out of your life. Well, that's pretty simple. Now if there are people who are toxic, who are mean, who are negative, those are obviously people you want to take out of your life. And people who just don't respect you for who you are and don't love you for who you are. Those are obviously people you want to take out of your life. And friends like supportive, somebody you can count on, someone you can trust, someone you can be yourself around, someone who makes you laugh and smile, even on your worst days, someone who is fun to be around, someone that is nice, someone who isn't just nice, but they're also kind and they're polite. And they respect you and they love you for who you are and they wouldn't want to try to change you. That's a very good definition on who you want in your life. I know it's so easy to get the definitions mixed up. But it's just so obvious on who you need to keep in your life and who you just need to get rid of. If those people aren't good for you, then they're not meant to be in your life. Now, if the people bring out the best in you, if they're a good impact in your life, if they don't bring you down, they're not negative, if you can trust them completely and know that you can count on them, that they won't let you down, and all of that, those are the people you want to keep in your life. And there's a very big difference. And I feel like that is related to the topic of what I just was talking about in the devotional. And someone obviously you can be yourself around, and someone you can have fun with, like have a lot of ventures with, like you do a lot of things together. You're able to you like have a lot of things in common, for instance. But even friends that last for a long time, some of them might not even have a lot in common. But they make the friendship work. They put in the effort. They put the effort to take out the time to talk to them. They don't try to ignore you. But obviously when they're busy, they can't just drop everything for you. That's not the way life works. You know, people get busy and that's how it, like happens like that. And but we should be honoring God in our choices that we make. And those questions remain of how you can possibly make the right choice, but most importantly, going to God in prayer, asking God for His wisdom and guidance, and just trust that God's going to walk you through that, and He's going to help you make the right choice, and He's going to be there with you. He's not going to abandon you, which He won't. He won't abandon you, and you can always trust Him with anything. But every choice we make matters. It does. And there is consequences for every decision we make. Good or bad. God doesn't want us to live in fear, though. Because we have to figure out what choice is good or bad, and we don't know what choice to make, or we're scared that if we make that choice that we're taking the next step, and we're scared about taking the next step because you've been hurt before and you don't want to get hurt again. And there are many definitions why you could be scared. But that's for sure. God does not want you to be scared. Instead, He wants us to make choices with wisdom. With God's wisdom. By going to Him. By relying on Him instead of doing things on our own. Because doing things on our own is not really going to get us anywhere. Making the right choice is going to include by going to God. And it's something, it might seem really hard right now. It may seem like you can just do things on your own without going to God, but that's not true. We're nothing without God. We're nothing but sinners without God. But with God, we can do the impossible with God. He can heal us and give us wisdom that we need and guidance that we need. And we know we can trust Him without any doubt. But if we're just trying to do things on our own, how do we expect for God to do good things in our lives if we're just trying to do things on our own? If we're just trying to live our lives on our own, if we're trying to live in the world on our own, trying to live for the world instead of God, when God has done so much for us. The world is only a temporary home. It's not a forever home. Heaven will be a forever home. But God has loved us from day one, and He will never change His mind. So why are you running away from God? Why are you turning to the world instead of God? Why can't you just lean on Him for knowledge and understanding and wisdom and trust and faith and love? Instead, you just go to the world and you expect to get satisfied. You expect to be satisfied from that. But trust me, I was down that road. I was down that road for 3 years. 3 years. Look where that led me. That led me absolutely nowhere. That led me to just walking was so far away from God at the time. It left me with losing friends, feeling unsatisfied, feeling like nobody cared. I realized over time that I was nothing without God, and that I needed Him, and that I still love God. I can't live without God. If I hadn't gone down that road, I'd probably never realize that. But eventually you're going to go down that road. Trust me, you're going to realize it one day. That you need God more than ever. And you want Him more than ever. He'll still be waiting for you in open arms. Nothing will change His mind from that. But you just have to be willing to you need to be willing to take that next step to God, instead of having Him walk to you. You need to be willing to take that step to God and show God how much you really care about Him. And this is the same thing for any type of relationship. Whether it is a friendship, a family relationship, if it's a dating relationship, anything like that. It relates to that. If you're not taking that step to put in effort, if you're not taking that step to take the time out to show them that you care and show them that you're worthy to be in their lives, how do you expect them to do that for you? How do you expect them to take that step for you too? You expect them to do that. You expect them to take that step for you, and you're not doing it. You just expect them to do it, and you don't do anything. And this might be for you. This video might be for you, and you might need this to hear this today. But you need to be willing to take the time out for people, instead of having them take out the time for you, but you're not doing that effort either. Same for God. You're having God put the effort in for you, but you're not putting the effort to God, for God. When He has done so much for you, He loves you, He can do anything for you. He sacrificed Himself for you, and He rose again, so we can have a relationship with Him. That's how much He loves us, and yet you're not putting in the effort to take the time to spend time with Him, to spread the gospel, to actually have that relationship with God. And you're just relying on the world. But it's not too late. Trust me, it's not too late to come back to God. It's not too late to turn back to God. Rather much, today's a good day to turn back to God. Today is a better day than ever, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. Today is only guaranteed. We don't know if we have a tomorrow or not. So my question for you today is, will you make that decision to come back home to God? Or are you just going to keep walking away from God and living your life without Him, and realize how unsatisfied you will be and how much you need Him, how much you can't do anything without God? You're going to realize that one day down that another road you're going. But if you come back home now, you're going to realize how much of a good choice you're making, how much happier you'll be. Trust me, I feel so much happier that I walked home for God. It's okay to not know the answers, but you can come back home to God. He's waiting for you. Just don't be scared. You have no reason to be scared. Today's the day where you come back home to God, and you pray the sinner's prayer again, and you take that next step into confirming you're taking that walk with God, and you're following God and living for God completely, and you're having that spending daily time with God, and you are having a relationship with God and faith in God instead of walking away. It's time to come back home. It's time to come back home to God. He's waiting for you. But I believe that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this devotional. I hope God spoke to you. And stay tuned for the next devotional. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, stay tuned for all my videos. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.